Good morning and welcome to this session of the virtual coaching classes organized by the Board of Studies of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. In the last two sessions, we discussed some important definitions. We called it preliminary and we discussed certain important definitions. We will also be discussing some more definitions in context. When we come to for example, promoter, I have not taught there, but when I come to prospectus, it will be taught. Similarly, net worth and free reserves will be taught. Okay, so don't worry. If you find that something is not covered, contextually it would be covered. Good. And one or two, issues that arose in the last session, and I need to wrap it up before we continue. One important point was well made by Ritesh, I think. I don't know, Ritesh Jain, I don't know who told this, but listed company definition has been amended, by which, as rightly pointed out, see, when a private company or an unlisted company issues only debentures, as per the SEBI rule, they have to get these debt instruments listed. So, non-convertible debt instruments, NCD, non-convertible debentures, you should say. NCD or they call it non-convertible debt. That is, later on when you come to debentures, I will tell you, debentures can be converted into equity shares. Now, there are debentures that will not be converted into equity. They will be simply debt. They will get interest and then repayment. Those debentures, if you are going to list, and they are the only listed securities, then such a company will not be a listed company. It's an important exemption. I have included it in the PowerPoint presentation, and that has been shared with you. The amended PDF has been shared with you. One more exemption is a company that has its securities listed in a foreign stock exchange, in a foreign jurisdiction, or in a specified jurisdiction. So basically a foreign jurisdiction. Rightly pointed out. Thank you for the input and now clarified. Okay, good. Now moving on with today's topic. So this is something which I missed out last time. I thought I will share with you. Here is a question from Mr. Petradwala. Kindly help me. Give me a name I can call you by, because it's very difficult for me to keep on saying Petradwala. I'm sure that's your surname. And Kojima must be your, I don't know, whatever. Okay. And I also greet all the, participants who have joined on a Sunday morning for learning. That shows that you guys and ladies are absolute CA students, because only CA students and aspirants will sacrifice their immediate pleasure, their immediate joy, their immediate happiness for a long-term happiness, for long-term goals. So this is one good sign of a dedicated CA student, and I'm sure this dedication would be rewarded. Abdul ji, thank you. I will call you Abdul from now on. Thank you, ji. One more thing. Can divorced son or a daughter past spouse counted as a relative? Divorced son? You mean son of your divorced spouse? Is it your son? Okay, that fantastic. That is, you married X and somebody married, not you. Okay, A married X. They got divorced. Now that X is having a son by another marriage. No, not in my view, it will not be a relative. But it's very, very complicated. Right? See, suppose you have A and B marry, they have a child, son or daughter, they divorce, that son or daughter would continue to be a relative. But wife will not be a relative. Please understand, post-divorce, the lady will not be a relative or man would not be a relative because divorce has happened. So no longer wife and husband. So that is why husband and wife relationship doesn't subsist, but the child will come. So suppose she had a son, or he had a son or a daughter, they were married, that stepson or stepdaughter will be a relative. But after the divorce, I don't think that stepson or stepdaughter, they won't be stepson or stepdaughter anymore, because the husband and wife relationship itself is out there. But natural children born to this couple, they would continue to be relative, son, daughter, etc., even post-divorce. This is my view on this. I could be wrong. Thank you, Abhishek. Yeah, because that's very important. And my bad, and I hope I've covered it. Thank you. I know you just finished. I know that. That's why I'm appreciating you like anything. See, continuously, my God, you guys are really, when I say guy, they apply the General Clauses Act. Words indicating the masculine gender always include feminine also. When I say guys, I mean the gals also. Wonderful. Moving on. Today, we are going to take up another very interesting topic called incorporation of company, right? And matters incidental there too. So this is the birth. We are going to talk about bringing a company into existence, right? So Janan, no, this is the birth, right? So let us see how that's going to happen. I already covered this. Therefore, you might ask me, why am I having this slide again here? Because sometimes I start the sessions from this topic. And according to me, this is a very, very fundamental principle that you should put in your mind. Whenever you read a section of the Companies Act, by and large, you find either it protects the investor or it protects the creditors. So once you know the goal, once you know the intention of the legislation, okay, legislation, act of parliament, statute, all are same. They mean a law which has been passed in parliament, 2 houses, assent of president, notification of the official gazette, effective date. For example, this listed company thing, it happened in February. See, the amendment came and see, basically, in many cases, okay, this is a good time to talk about this because we are still learning the basics. The Companies Act 2013, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs wanted to take over a lot of legislative power. See, in our country, or in most democratic countries, the making law will be in parliament or some equivalent body will make law. That law will be implemented by somebody called the executive. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs is part of what is known as the executive implementing part. So they will monitor whether the law is being correctly followed. In case it is not being correctly followed, they will punish or reward accordingly. Right? Now, in the Companies Act, what they did, now what happens now? Within the enactment itself, the parliament will give the executive certain rule-making powers. Rule-making powers, which is why, there are so many rules. You all have incorporation also, you have rules. The set of rules are there, okay? So the point here is, okay, audio is breaking. Started. I'll do one thing. I will change my connection and then I will come to you. Give me 2 minutes to change my connection because I had my own doubts about this morning. Just give me 1 minute. I need 2 minutes to do this and then we can be peaceful. I'll create a mobile hotspot. I just need to connect again, that's all. My Wi-Fi may not be good. Let's see if this will work. Okay, in the meantime, let me continue with my point, which I can still make, which is the executive sometimes is given powers to make rules. Why? Because, see, the law is meant to tell you how the law is meant to tell you how the law is meant to tell you what is to be done. The law is meant to tell you what is to be done, whereas how it is to be done. For example, if you have to apply for something, that will be in the main law. Anybody who wants to do something has to apply for it. Okay, they'll also say with the central government, appropriate government would be the Ministry of Corporate Affairs or whatever. Like, apply is told, now how they will apply. So there should be a form, within what time they should apply, etc. Now, these are all part of legislation. The Supreme Body can make the law. They will delegate this power, a portion of it, to the central government. Okay. Sorry, I'm just giving me 1 minute. I know my I don't know why mobile hotspot does not make. Just give me 1 minute. I'll go out and I'll come back. Sir, my connection is weak. I'll just reconnect. Ashok, I'll just. Thank you. Okay, anyway, from now on, you should not have a problem. And one more, I'm going to put this general suggestion to all of you. If you find video is lagging, could be due to temporary connection problem, let us not interrupt the class for that. Anyway, this will be videotaped. No? The video will be pakka because video will not have a problem. You can watch that. Maybe it's connection that's the problem, not a problem. Sometimes, with all humility, we should accept that our connection may also be a problem. It may not be the faculty. I mean, rarely we will accept that we are wrong, but sometimes we can also be wrong, right? So our side also problem can be there, right? Rarely. Never, you will never make mistakes. You will never be wrong, but sometimes you can also be wrong, right? Good. Now, so that is why this Companies Act 2013, there are so many rules. In fact, this law is equally divided between the sections and the rules. When central government, MCA drafted every other section, they said, as may be prescribed, so that they took over much of the power of making the law, which is why you will have to know the corresponding rule also. Unless you, in fact, this listed company amendment, it's an amendment to the rule. So if you look at the section, you will not know. It is in the rule. So, of course, how to go through this nightmare, very difficult. So somewhere a faculty like me can help you. Otherwise, maybe you will need our institute material. That way is very good. You can, institute material, highly dependable. You can use it with confidence. With confidence. In terms of accuracy, just confirm that it's okay. Maybe because the last message I have is video is lagging. Let us hope that is solved now. Yeah, quickly, because you guys have already studied so much in foundation, I should not waste your time with this nonsense. But still, a company is a separate legal entity, means it is and this in its own name. It can own and deal with property in its own name, and it has perpetual succession. It is a legal person, as against you and I. We are natural persons. We have body, we have mind, we have intellect, we have feelings, we have emotions. The company has nothing. It is a person in as much as it is recognized by law. It's a person because it is recognized by law as a person. But it is in many other terms, in many other ways, not a natural person, which means many of the of a natural person are missing in a company. You and I were born by a biological process, biology, whereas company is born by a legal process, a process of law. So a company is born by a process of law. This process is called incorporation. So incorporate means to give body. What it means is give structure, to give kind of a reality. So to incorporate means to bring into existence, right? Incorporate. So the idea of forming a company is first conceived in the mind of a few persons. I've had the good fortune to be there at the birth of more than 2,000 companies. I have been there at the time of birth of more than 2,000. Right from 1987, personally, I have incorporated more than 2,000, more than that, I'm sure. Right now, it must be nearing 3,000 companies. And because I've stopped becoming actively engaged in the procedure of forming the company. Actual procedure of forming the company, my colleagues do it. My team does it. In those days, I used to do it myself. So the idea of forming a company is first conceived by a few persons. They are called promoters. They undertake the process of incorporation, that is bringing the company into existence, right? How is it done? That is what this chapter. Before we go there, I told you, I will define some other words not defined now. We said it is in the minds of a few persons, they are called promoters. The word promoter is defined in the law now. Earlier, the word promoter was not defined. Whereas here, a person who has been named as such in a prospectus is identified by the company in the annual return referred to in section 92. So, everybody will not be a promoter. His name should be mentioned in the prospectus as a promoter. That is one guy. Or a person who has control over the affairs of the company directly or indirectly, whether as a shareholder, director or otherwise. If you are able to show that he is having control, which means basically a shareholder with substantial shareholding, a director, etc., would become automatically a promoter of a company. See, sometimes a company would be formed by a larger group. For example, the Reliance Group may form a new company. That company would be promoted Reliance Industries Limited, and Reliance would be named as the promoter. The company itself will be the promoter. Okay, so long as the name should be mentioned in the prospectus or in the annual return. Whenever they file the annual return, they will be asking names of people who are promoters. So if these names are mentioned, then they become promoters. Later on, we will be talking about prospectus. When we come to prospectus, we would not deal with promoter, but we would deal with liability of promoter. We would see the liability of a promoter for misstatement in prospectus. So very liability and very strong. So promoters have a very important role, but promoters are different from directors. A person who is a director may be a promoter, but unless he is a director, he cannot control day-to-day. Right? Also, a person in accordance with whose advice, directions or instructions the board of directors of the company is accustomed to act is called a promoter. Now, a person who is acting merely in a professional capacity shall not be regarded as promoter. For example, the solicitor, banker, as I told you, chartered accountant, I will prepare the documents and be there advising them on, as a professional, on how to, the legal aspect of promotion. Such person will not be a promoter. Okay. I feel that there is some problem with my connection. I'm sorry, I cannot help it. Kindly bear with the inconvenience. Try to concentrate on what I am saying. Even with the lag, you will be able to get some. Kindly bear with it. I'm very sorry. I have two connections. I have tried both, and some problem, I'm not able to control it. Okay. Kindly bear with me. I'm not able to help it. I'm doing my best. Let us hope that things will become all right. What is a prospectus? Prospectus is a document which informs the public that shares are available, willing to allot shares. This is an elaborate document which will contain a lot of information, very important, statutory document. If a company wants to get money from the public, they can do so only by issuing a prospectus. So, for example, when you go to an educational institution, you want to join them, they will give you a prospectus, meaning they will give you information about that institution. They will give you information about the college. Now. That is called prospectus. Now, same way, prospectus contains information about the company. It is statutory, format is given. About that, we will see in the next chapter. Prospectus and allotment of securities, there, in depth, we will see it. Okay? See, when I see all these comments, I am reminded of a famous Aesop fable, Father, Son, and the Donkey. If you know that story, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to listen to anybody. Well, Priyankaji for giving me assurance. Okay. Have patience. In case there's a problem with the connectivity, I'm unable to do anything about it. Rather, you concentrate on what I'm saying, you will learn. Okay. By now you should see my approach is that if there is a problem in the environment, if there is a problem around me, instead of blaming my environment, instead of saying environment is the problem, I always ask myself, what can I do to influence? Can I change the environment? If I cannot, I will accept it patiently and go on with my life. One day will come when I will be able to do something and go on. This is how I have think. Wherever possible, I will try to blame myself. I will try to find out what is wrong in me and then try to change. Then and only then I will, of course, maybe out of context here, but generally, good. Now we go on to types of companies. For example, we already saw that companies can be either private or public. OPC comes under the private category. OPC, one person company, comes under the private category. Public and private, we already saw that. Public means not a private company. Private defined, 3 matters, all that. Now again we know earlier discussion that companies may be limited by shares, limited by guarantee, or unlimited. Similarly, public also can be limited by shares, limited by guarantee, or unlimited. We also saw that last time. Limited by guarantee can be having capital or without capital. So, see the number of combinations you have. Can firm be a promoter? No. Why? Because to become a promoter person, so a firm is not a person under the Companies Act. Okay, so under the Income Tax Act, it is not. It doesn't have, firm cannot hold property in its own name. It is not a separate legal entity. LLP can be a promoter, but firm, the good old partnership firm, cannot be a promoter. Only the partners can. If name is not in affairs, but affairs are controlled, then he is a promoter. He is. If name is not in the prospectus, but it is shown that the affairs are controlled by him, he is a promoter. But this will not be very obvious. Remember yesterday what I said? The second and third points in the slide are very difficult to prove. It will be done by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. They will do the investigation. And in the see, for example, suppose a prospectus was false statements were there. And based on that, people have invested, lost money. Complaint is received by SEBI and Ministry. They conduct an investigation of the affairs of the company. Due to that investigation, they might find that some evidence is there that one X or Y, who is not named anywhere in the prospectus, who is not a director, but he is controlling the affairs of the company. Then they have the power to investigate him also. And thereafter, they will connect up. Once they make the connection, then he will be deemed to be a promoter. By the he will be treated as a promoter and he will have to suffer the consequences. See, one thing, I like you all because once a topic comes to you, you are like that. You go there and you keep going. Promoter will do it later when we will go in depth into it. I come back to incorporation. Why I covered it here? Because promoter is one of the persons who incorporate. He is there at the time of incorporation of the company. In fact, it is the promoter who gets the idea and he promotes. Good. Formation continuing. Minimum number of persons. You already know this, I'm sure, but so I will skip quickly over it. So 7 or more in the case of a public company, 2 or more in the case of a private company, 1 person in the case of an OPC. 1 person in the case of an OPC. Yeah, shareholder at the time of formation of the company, the signatory to the memorandum, they would be promoter. After that, if somebody becomes a shareholder, they will not be promoter. At the time when the company is formed, those who signed the signatory to the memorandum, they would be promoter. Subsequently, if a person becomes a shareholder, he would not be a promoter, right? So, more 1 person. Now, why is this magic number 7 being given? Anybody have ever thought about it? You know it is 7, you know it is 2, you know it is 1. That way your knowledge is good. But intelligent people will go beyond that knowledge and ask very powerful question. In English language, there is a very powerful question. There are many, but this is the most powerful question. Why? A person, a human being who asks why will be superior to his peers. Every human being who asked why became a scientist, became a forerunner, became somebody who was ahead of his peers. Why? So this why question, if you keep on asking now, what question any donkey can read and mug up and know? Why question is where the distinction happens. Okay. So when we come to OPC, I will teach it, Abdul. I will be covering OPC in depth today. At that time, I will teach it. Private limited only. OPC will be a private company. Private. It is a private company. Okay. Now, so why 7? Because remember, our law is not original. The Companies Act is not original. The 56 Act is not original. It had a precursor, the British law. That British law had, it was, when it was enacted, they included 7. So that 7 has continued. But this still doesn't answer. How did the British law get 7? Because under in England, the Societies Registration Act was there. See, that was the earlier law, the Societies Act. So that in Societies Act, they had 7. Now the real question, why there it was 7? Okay, that I cannot answer. There are some reasons, but I cannot tell you why. 7 is a magic number, and 7 is a very powerful number. And so that 7 became a sort of an important number for the English. The people who were drafting Company Law and Societies Act, they were influenced and they used the number 7. Okay, do more research on the number 7. Now, I won't tell you. Go to Google and do some research on the number 7. Why 7 is an important number? Like 3 is an important number, then 7 is an important number. 3, 5 and 7, important numbers. Mathematically also. Go and check out. Sorry, not to waste your time, because some of you are so focused on becoming CA, you will not learn any other knowledge. You will never look at any other knowledge. If it can help me to become CA, don't waste my time. I agree. Okay, don't worry. We'll come back to the topic. 3 conditions are to be okay. Now we are okay. Sorry. Members severally in cases. Yeah. In short, promoters are who formed company. Correct. Who formed company? No. Promoters are who formed company, but their name should be mentioned under the Companies Act. If you want to catch a guy, then his name should be mentioned in the prospectus, or he should be influencing the company, only that. Okay. Yeah, but in a very loose way, in a very layman terms, if you say, yeah, promoters are those who form the company. Correct. the number of members. So, first of all, members severally liable in certain cases. Friends, the minimum number has been prescribed by the law. Now, the number of members should not fall below the statutory minimum. Okay. So much so that when the number falls below the statutory minimum, those people who are allowing it to fall, those people who know that the number has fallen below the statutory minimum and continue to run the company will thereafter have unlimited liability, will not enjoy limited liability. I will repeat because some of you may not get this. The law has prescribed a statutory minimum. The number of members should not go below the statutory minimum. 7 in the case of a public company, 2 for a private company, 1 for an OPC. I mean, it cannot fall below 1. Okay. Anyway, that will be different. Don't ask that question. When you come to OPC, we will see what happens in the case of OPC. Let's only look at private and public and private. Public below 7, private below 2. If that happens, what will be the consequences? What happens now? The number falls below the statutory minimum and the company is continued to be run. And those people who knowingly continue to run, though it is less than the statutory number, then those people will not enjoy limited liability. They will become unlimited. They will get unlimited liability for all the debts incurred by the company after that date, after that expiry of that date. With this background, let us get in. Could be. Hey, that's a good one, yeah. Section 7 is incorporation of company. Maybe that was somebody in Ministry of Corporate Affairs doing it. No. Don't be casual, Dhyanesh. Wait, after this class is over, Sunday, na, aaj. So half an hour you do research in Google. 7 is more powerful than that. Okay. Sir, it's good to share extra. Surely, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, see, after all, what is life? Yeah, you will become CA, then you will get a job. Huh? You will earn a lot of money. Huh? Marry. Huh? Get children. Huh? I've done all that. Don't think that I'm a person who was not done and talking. I've done everything, and with that, I'm telling you, life is more than all that. So, if kaam ke liye don't do life. Do more than that. You should live your life. Okay. The job, the becoming CA, the job, these are only means to an end. The end is bigger than this. Let me in your yaad kar dijiye na. Always keep it in your mind. Okay. The number of members shall fall statutory minimum. Shall means the number, if the number of members falls below the statutory minimum, that is to say less than 2 in the case of private company and less than 7 in the case of public company. So, first point condition is number has fallen. The number of members has fallen below the statutory minimum. Okay. Then the company carries on the business for more than 6 months after the number is so. The company carries on business for more than 6 months after the number is so reduced. So today, for example, on the 8th of December, January 2023, one of the members died. Or one of the members, so, I mean, if he sold his share also, nothing will happen because another person will be there. Let us say one member dies. Then, now how many are there? Out of public company, 7, one fellow dies. Only 6 are there, na? Now that 6 should carry on the business for 6 months. From 6 months, you're 6 months. So, 7th of February, 7th of March, 7th of April, May, June, July. So 7th of July, 6 months will get over. Am I correct? So today, 8th. So 8th month means you have to count day to day. So 8th means 7th. So 7th of February, March, April, May, June, July. So 7th of July, 2023, 6 months get over. So 6 months they have been carrying on with the number reduced. Then the remaining members should be aware. They should be cognizant. Means aware. They should be aware. They should know that the number is below. Knowingly they are doing this for 6 months. Then the remaining members shall be severally liable. Severally means you already studied severally in Partnership Act. You remember, partners are jointly and severally liable for the debts of the firm. What does that mean? Jointly means they are all jointly responsible, no problem. Severally means the creditor, the person to whom you owe the money, can sue any partner. He includes all the partners in his suit. He can sue any one partner and claim the entire money from him. Severally means any one of these shareholders who continue with the reduced number can be sued for the whole debts of the company contracted during the time it carries on business after those 6 months. Note the point. After those 6 months. So up to that 6 months ending, limited liability. Only company is liable, shareholder is liable, limited. After 6 months, if the company incurs any debt, the remaining members who are aware of it, who are cognizant, will be personally liable severally. Okay. They are only severally liable. Please note, partners are jointly and severally liable. What does that mean? If one partner pays the entire amount, he can claim the share from the other partners. That is why they are jointly and severally liable. But here they use the word only severally liable, which means any one fellow may pay and that's it. Okay, so which means what? If Mr. A is a shareholder of a company and the number falls below the statutory minimum, he is given 6 months' time, or they are given 6 months' time to rectify. If they still don't do that, then any one of them can become liable for debts incurred after 6 months. After 6 months. This is a very, very sort of, in real life, this will never be relevant. But in exam, though, it can become, they can ask you a question in the exam on this. Again, they will give you facts. So, crux point is, number falls below, 6 months business is run, members are aware that it is less and they are carrying on the business for 6 months. Then, after the expiry of 6 months, whatever debt is incurred, the remaining members, knowingly continuing for 6 months, will become severally liable. Do this when you do nothing, but you all know you are the one. Correct. Absolutely correct. After all, see, I have been a son and also I have been a father of 2 children. One thing I used to tell my children is whatever you do in life, do it with full enthusiasm. If you do not enjoy what you are doing, stop doing it. It doesn't matter. You have to become CA, you have to become engineer, you have to become doctor. Nothing. Become a joyful person, and in that process, 100% you will discover your true path. It will come. Parents, as a parent, if I tell you what to do, that is not your life. Okay, I'm sorry. This is my parents what to do. Okay, I decided this is what I am. This is how I do. That is something you will all have to cultivate. Going forward, life is going to change. Man talking to you is a Buddha. 57-year-old man is telling 22-year-old people, life is change, continuous change. Only if you change, only if you are ready for change, you can survive for the next 100 years. If your generation wants to become successful, it's not enough. You cannot expect permanence anymore. Nobody can promise you permanence. Nobody can promise you anything from now on. Nobody, not even Narendra Modi ji, can promise you anything. We can give you opportunities. Life will keep on changing. You should keep on. And nobody will guide you 100%. No, you can say, please, I will fall at your feet. You tell me what to do. No. You have to keep on thinking differently. That is all. Good, sir. So here are a lot of questions. After fall, a member in company, remaining members liable. See, Jyotichi, you have written one thing in English. Now you are right. But is it so simple? After fall, correct. A member in company, correct. Remaining members is liable. Be careful. Liable for what? Liable for debts incurred after 6 months. That is very, very important. So suppose one member dies, number falls below. From that day, no. 6 months, then after 6 months, they are liable. This is one point you have to do. Sir, why 6 months? No, there are no other reasons. Don't keep on getting in reasons. Yeah, don't keep on, hey, come on, don't everything don't expect reason. 6 months is a reasonable period. For example, what is a reasonable period? They think 6 months because 6 months is enough. So nobody can say, you have not given me enough time. That is all. 6 months is a reasonable period. Okay. In many cases, they will say 15 days and all. It's a reasonable period. The law has decided what is a reasonable period. That is what it's 6 months. If a person left from private company and tomorrow I entered in the contract and 6 months left, no. When one person sells his shares to another, because of perpetual succession, there is no fall in the number. Got it now? See, when A sells to B, A is not a member, B is a member. So it's from private company today and tomorrow I entered. You cannot do that. The day he sells it, it's not like a partnership. How you become a member? By buying the share. So he is a member, you buy the share, you become. Instantaneously, the membership will be reinstated. Okay, that is the idea. Till that transfer is registered, he is treated as the member. Once the transfer is registered, instantaneously, the new member will become member. 6 months left, but I have not added a new member and I made a default in contract. No, I think your question is answered. That elaborate question on a foundation of weak foundation. You are assuming that there can be a gap. The day he becomes a member, it will be. That is my understanding. Okay. Death is the best way of doing it. Death is the best way. Because once a member dies, then the number will fall below the statutory minimum. Once the member dies. Okay. Means that before 6 months, not going to be unlimited liability. Correct. You are right, Pranav. Only after that's correct point. Okay. If numbers are increased by 200 in private company, when it goes beyond the maximum number, you mean? What is that? If numbers are increased by 200 in private company, you saw that in private company definition, we saw that. No? Once the number goes beyond that, they will no longer be treated as a private company. Remember that? Even though they may continue to have these restrictions and all, they will no longer be treated as a private company. That was in the last class. Please. Until 6 months expiry, nobody is liable. Until 6 months expiry, nobody is liable. After 6 months, only those people who continued for 6 months with the reduced number, only they will be liable for debts incurred or the whole debts incurred or contracted during the time it carries on business after this 6 months and may be severally sued therefore. Okay. That's a good point you are making, but after death, automatically transmission will not happen. Okay, so on death, the membership becomes vacant. The legal heir should claim till such time there is a gap. Are you able to understand? The legal heir should be, the transmission should happen. Till such time the transmission happens now, you cannot say automatically the legal, because legal heir, there may be more than one legal heir. So the estate cannot become a member. That's called the estate. So there will be an executor and all, but that will not amount to member. Your question is beautiful, but the answer legally is on death is this does not happen. Okay. So good question. And first of all, later on when you come to allotment of shares, we'll talk about transfer and transmission. When there is a death, we transmit to not the immediate family, to the legal heirs. But that is a legal process. Unless that happens, this member is not there. There is no member. If private company member remains one for more than 6 months, it will become automatically OPC. No. That he has to convert it into an OPC. This section is not about that. This section is about fall below and knowingly continuing to run the company. The idea is simple. The limited liability is a protection for the shareholder only so long as the number is maintained. If the number is not maintained, they will lose the limited liability. That is all. If he is not aware, not liable, because the third point says remaining members should be cognizant or aware. But you have to prove that you are not aware. Proof. You can't say I was not aware. prove it. So this is the difficult thing. Okay. Anyway, moving on. This is a very, very limited operation section, but will create a lot of questions. Okay. As rightly pointed out by my good friend 7, who said it? Section 7, correct. Section 7, Dhyanesh makes the point about 7, section 7, correct. Incorporation of company, section 7. Steps are given. There are 7 steps. Correctly said. Okay, chalo, no problem. That is not the reason, but 7 is 7. I told you now. Reservation of name by filing e-application. So when I was born, my parents did not have to apply to the government and get my name reserved. No, my name is Srikanth. There are a lot of people with name Srikanth available. But company, no. A company should have a unique name. No other company should have the same or similar or identical name to avoid confusion. Therefore, before you form the company, you should ensure that the name that you want to give the company is available. It's not already the name of an existing company. Therefore, that's simple. It's an e-application. You will just have to apply. In fact, you can go to the site and verify yourself. Then you yourself will know. But then you have to apply. Then they will give you a allotment letter. That is name reservation mail. That will be available. But you have to incorporate it within 21 days. Otherwise, you have to again apply and you have to reserve it again. But of course, when we come to procedure, I'll tell you, nowadays they are combining it. When you have incorporation, automatically you will also apply for the name. So it will be a quicker process. In fact, the process of incorporation of company has become extremely simple now. Everything is online. If you do the work correctly, procedurally, there will be no problem in incorporating a company. The legal heir of the deceased member of company do not claim any right or even request him. In what was the action committee? You have one of the existing members, he can share to another person and make him a member. How long it will take for him? See, legal heir gone, no problem. But you are having share, you include one more shareholder. Yeah, how difficult is that to do? Legal heir is some problem. Chalo. But you got some other people. You shall, suppose you are holding 100 shares, give one share to somebody, make him a member. How long will it take? Against such legal heir, what action you should take? You don't want to get your name registered, no problem. We will continue to pay the dividend to the estate. See, there will be an estate of the deceased person. That will be there. If you want to claim. Otherwise, it will be lying. There are many shares which are lying like that. In the case of deceased person, transmission of shares have not been incorporated because they have to provide all sorts of documents. If they are not able to do that or not willing, why should I be bothered? That I should increase the number of members to 7. Therefore, I should sell one share to somebody, bring them as member. Why sell? Allot. Make a fresh allotment of shares within 6 months. Get people to subscribe and come. Why not? That is the best protection. Sir, automatically it will not become OPC. Bhaiya. Please understand that topic, concept. Automatically OPC. If you want to become OPC, there is a method of converting private company to OPC. You have to go through that formality, then it will become OPC. Okay, it is not automatic. That's all I'm humbly submitting to you. Okay. See how you, very beautifully, if private company reduce below 2, it's OPC or not? Not. Okay. Why? Because it should be, just because there is only one person, it will not become OPC. Because other condition that automatically like that you cannot say. Are you able to understand what is said, Sunilji? If company has name Himalaya Limited, another company formed? No, never. Impossible. Himalaya only a, no more Himalaya. Private Limited will not. But we are getting very, very, internet again, bro. You might find my internet is unstable. This class, I am plagued by this. See, coming back to Abdul's question, I see Himalaya. First of all, I'll tell you, your question needs further inputs. I know it will be voice break. What happens if another member dies after the passing of 6 months? So after 6 months, if everybody dies, also their estate will become liable. Yeah. After 6 months, see, you are asking wastefully. Such questions will never come in the exam. But practically, I will give you 6 months. Okay, then the remaining fellows are liable. That's all. After that, anybody dies, what is the problem? Their estate will become liable. That's all. Okay. You can check any MCA website. They have a list of companies. Check. They have an option. They have a button there. If you want to check the name, if you check they will tell you companies similar. They will see for sound also. Homolemes also will be taken. Oni, SYY, right? Suppose want to incorporate a company, that was Oni. Pronunciation, you are Sony, you are Sony. Being punished for some since continuously there's a problem with my connectivity. To answer definitely. Yeah. I'm dreadfully sorry for the inconvenience caused to all of you. I hope it is somewhat better now going on. So, what I will do now, let us not jump to name now. Let us go through these 7 steps. Then when we come to name clause of the memorandum, I will tell more about name, because you can check the name availability. You should ensure that your name does not resemble any other company's name. So if another company is there with name Himalaya Limited, then you cannot have Himalaya Private Limited. That will not solve the problem. Private is not distinction. Okay. So let me answer that. They are very strict about not. In fact, they will go to an extent. When you come there, you will understand it better. Right now, sometimes, you have to accept that knowledge will come slowly. So give me time. I will do it. So the Memorandum of Association, MOA, and Articles of Association will have to be prepared. MOA and AOA will have to be prepared. These are what please don't ask what is this. Take it from me. They are very important documents of the company, will be explained in detail. These 2 documents are to be prepared and submitted to the ROC. So in the course of this session, we will be seeing what is memorandum, what is articles, etc., etc. Also, we will be seeing how the name should be selected, what name cannot be selected. That will be discussed. Then, if any directors are there, named directors, right? In the article, 3 people as directors. Those directors have to give the consent of the persons. The consent should be given. They should agree to act as directors, because you cannot simply take somebody's name and put it as director, and then tomorrow that fellow will become liable. So you have to obtain his consent. That consent is given in a particular form. What is that form? We will see. And he has to place his digital signature. All the electronic applications have to be signed digitally. DSC, digital signature certificates, have to be purchased, and using that, you have to connect to the net and give the DSC code. Then automatically, once you log in as yourself, your DSC will be, your digital signature will be affixed. So that digital signature of that person should be affixed. Okay. Good. Thank you for saying I need not say sorry, but I feel bad because your learning experience is getting affected by internet. Submission of statutory declaration of compliances and other declarations. We will see this, the format in which it should be given. Basically, it is an affidavit. It is a confirmation that the company has complied with all the requirements. Who has to give it? We will see. If it is given and tomorrow it is discovered that there is some false information or something has done wrongly, the person who gave the declaration will become liable. And the subscriber to the memorandum will become liable. Okay. Of course, they have to pay the fees. Okay. And also, memorandum and articles, being legal documents, have to be stamped. So, depending on the stamp duty of that state, it will have to be stamped. Okay. The stamp duty has to be paid electronically, and the proof of payment. Earlier, we used to have stamps and it affixed or stuck to the document. Stamping it, that was a thing. We have to go, all this nonsense was there. If to incorporate a company, I have to go to the revenue office. I have to submit the memorandum. They will affix the stamp, then give it back. So that before I go for stamping, I should verify that everything is correct and signature should be obtained. Only then they will stamp. No, signature will not be obtained. We will get it stamped and then we will get it signed by these people. It used to be. So minimum getting things ready for incorporation in 1989-90, it was one day for me. And I used to run. Then I'll call the promoters to my office. There will be a big elaborate ceremony when they will sign. Then I will sign witness. You'll make it a big elaborate ceremony. Then I'll file for incorporation. Then get a correction. I will go there. But by large, my memorandum and article, there will be no major corrections. And then they will give, then they issue a document called Certificate of Incorporation. Today is done by email. Straight away, you will get it by email to the inbox. In those days, I used to get it and then give it. That will be another ceremony when I will call them. At that time, I will also do like this. Why? Because my fee has to be paid now. So whatever advance I took, balance fee will be paid to me. I will give the Certificate of Incorporation, bless them and go. And the company will be. Yeah, you are absolutely correct, Mr. Abhishek Pandey. You are aware of the form. Thank you. But when I come to that, I will also, with your permission, mention what is that form. Okay. When I come there to that topic, I will mention it with your permission. Okay. File declaration about address of, I appreciate I can understand. You're eager to display your knowledge and all. I'm so happy about it. File declaration about address of registered office. See, at the time of incorporation, you need not give the registered office address. But within 30 days, you have to mention the registered office and file declaration. If you do not do that, when we come to situation class, I will explain to you more about it. So what we now saw is only the 7 steps. How to incorporate a company. And information with registrar. So the following documents and information are required to be filed with the registrar within whose jurisdiction the registered office of the company is proposed to be situated. As I told you, each state has a registrar, ROC, each state. Of course, some states share one registrar. Like I think northeastern states together, they share one registrar. And some states have 2 registrars, as we said, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. So depending on, it's like Chennai registrar handles Chennai. The rest of Tamil Nadu by Coimbatore. Like that. I don't know the exact jurisdiction. That is available in the MCA website. You can find out and you can do it. Okay. Today, everything is available. You can just simply go there and find out which is your jurisdiction and apply accordingly. One more thing. Earlier, this concept of a geography was there. Today, this entire application was online. There is a central processing computer in Delhi. That computer processes it. And they finalize it. So, you sit in front of computer and put flags. Yes, no. Keeps on going. That intervention is no longer there. Artificial intelligence, machine, shall we say, intelligence. It does, everything is AI now. Okay. We are moving from, I don't know if you know, the thrust in today's information technology is completely AI driven. Okay. Artificial intelligence driven. So slowly we are trying to robotize processes. Things which can be done by machine, we are not going to hire human beings to do it anymore. Okay. So this is a trend that you need to be aware of. Okay. So slowly, a job description that can be repeated by a system, by a computer will be out. It will no longer be a job. You cannot use that as a job. So the new world in the next 7 years, 5 years will not encourage people who do mediocre work, who are doing the same routine work again and again and again. Their work will become robotized. So the people who are going to be successful in the next 10 years are those who are going to do things that computer cannot do. So taking decision. For example, knowing is no longer a great achievement for human being. Why? Because Google can know better than you. Storing income tax decisions in your mind and remembering them and spouting them out may not be a great talent anymore. But looking at a situation and arriving at an opinion on it, and maybe then researching and getting supporting decisions from taxman or Manupatra, research capabilities, focused research capability, ability to connect the dots and come out with conclusions. This is something that today very difficult to robotize. Yes, advanced artificial intelligences are we are trying to design to do this, but still a human being does it better. Can you imagine this? Still a human being does this better. Intuition is something still human. This is the only talent that's going to be rewarded going forward. I'm great, I have knowledge, I can spout out. Sorry, computer can do it better than you. Okay, so we don't want a knowledge man. We want a solution man. We want a person who can connect the dots, who can understand the whole picture and then come out with ideas. Check it out. So detailing is now gone. People who are good in details, Munimji types, they will not be preferred. Their era is gone, where, they were appreciated, memory and all. Today, Can you connect the dots with all this? Are you just another Google walking around, human Google, or are you a person? See, because with all its capabilities, now Google cannot connect the dots. You think that Google is intelligent. No, it is not. It's only a program. Beyond Google is the man sitting in front of the computer searching. That searcher has something in his mind now that Google can never understand. And that is what is unique about you and I as human beings. If you lose out on that, then sorry, the future jobs are not for people who remember and mug up. It is for people who connect the dots. So look at the big picture. Look at the totality of the subject. Don't look at specific issues and say this is that. Okay. Chalo, coming back. So we have to file the following documents. See, this session, I think we are doomed to have internet problems. So just bear with me. If the voice is breaking, we'll pray to God. It will become all right. The memorandum of association and articles of association should be submitted duly signed. So physically, it has to be signed by all the subscribers and uploaded. Okay, and uploaded. I will explain the meaning of misfeasance nearing the end of the session. A declaration in form number INC 8. Okay, INC 8. Don't confuse this with DIR 8 that was told by Mr. Abhishek Pandey. That is, DIR 8 is consent given by the director. This is form INC 8. This is the declaration. The fourth item is submission of statutory declaration. This is INC.8, Incorporation 8, by a person who is engaged in the formation of the company, like an advocate or a chartered accountant or a cash accountant or a company secretary in practice, and by a person named in the director, manager or secretary of the company. So such a person can also give. Either the professional can give, or one of the promoters, one of the signatory to the memorandum, or one of the directors can give. One of the persons named as a director can give. Okay. What is the declaration? That all the requirements of this act and the rules made thereunder in respect of registration and matters precedent or incidental thereto have been complied with. Precedent means before. Incidental means for the purpose of. To do this, I have to do. So everything is done correctly, have been complied with. Okay. Have been complied with. Like that, you have to give a declaration. Once upon a time in 1988, I started practice in 1989. And I quit Pricewaterhouse. I was working in Pricewaterhouse 87, almost 89. 89 I quit Pricewaterhouse. Almost 90 I quit, I should say. 90 I started my own practice. 89, 90 sort of flux. I started my own practice. Full-fledged 91. 89, 90 I was still struggling. 91, full-fledged, my firm had come into existence. Around that time, I used to incorporate companies. Now, I used to sign this declaration. Those days, it was form number 1. I used to sign form 1 and all that. It was a pride for me to sign it. Then, after 1,000 companies were incorporated, I stopped doing it. And I had certain bitter experiences with certain promoters who ran away, created problem. I had to go to CBI and also I decided after 1,000 companies were incorporated, I stopped signing. I said, no way. You guys want me to advise you, I'll advise you. Preparing the documents, blah, blah. But strategy, yes, I'll tell you what to do and all. But actual signing, okay. So this has been my method. In a year, we incorporate as of now, about 20 companies I incorporate. In a year, on and off, they come. I sometimes discourage them from forming company. Because imagine, 2,000 companies more, plus companies I've incorporated. I can't audit all of them. Okay. And some of them don't work at all. They will simply die. Don't do anything. Out of enthusiasm, they'll form the company and not know what to do, and it will become defunct. So why it is mentioned and in between, I know, I'm not aware. It's a good point. Very nice point. Abdul is making a very point. Only either an advocate or I'll check up and I'll get back on this. Maybe my slide is wrong. I will check up. Okay. But let me assure you that any one of them can sign. That much is sure. I will not change this now. I will check up and I will change. Good question. There's a declaration from each of the subscribers to the memorandum and from persons named as first directors in the article stating that, see, this is a declaration given by the subscriber to the memorandum from person named as first director. Is not in connection with formation, promotion, formation, or management of a company. He has not been found guilty of any fraud or misfeasance in connection with promotion, formation, or management. He has not all the documents filed with the registrar for the company contain information that is correct and complete. Okay, the address for correspondence till its registered office is established. All they have to give. That again is part of the incorporation form. It will be there. All will sign it. That will be there. Okay. So internet connection is stable. One or two of you are going to put my voice is lagging like that. Anyway, I'm waiting for that comment. Okay. Now I understand why our friend wanted misfeasance. Jumping ahead with she's having the institute material in her hand and she is jumping ahead. No problem. See, if you want to understand misfeasance, first you should understand what is feasance. It's a land rule done or being done. Feasance, anything done is feasance. That's why beneficence means good things are done. It is beneficence, benefit, beneficence, beneficial. This good is being done. Malfeasance means malfeasance means doing something wrong. Consciously, knowingly, you decide to do something fraudulent. That's fraud. Misfeasance is where your intention was not to cheat or to do something wrong, but what you did is wrong. The format is wrong, the procedure is wrong, or you're not applied with the correct method, etc. Your intentions are not bad, but what you did is wrong. Misfeasance means the intentions are not bad. It's not a fraud. It's not. But what you did was against the law. What you did was non-compliant. For example, you not deducted TDS. You did not know that you should deduct. You have made a payment without deducting tax. Or you have not uploaded a form under the Companies Act. You did not know that it should be done. So that is misfeasance. For example, you should have appointed a company secretary. You are not appointed. Legally, you are bound to appoint a company secretary. Your paid up capital is there. You are not appointed, but you are not aware. Nobody told you. You are ignorant. Suppose you deducted tax, you kept the money with you, and you did not pay to the government, knowingly you used it for something else. That is malfeasance. Knowingly you are misusing the government of India, malfeasance. Punishment for misfeasance and malfeasance are slightly different. It is only misfeasance, imprisonment will not be there. But malfeasance also put you in prison. Thank you. So, welcome back from your break. I thought I could ask you a break now and break again. And I know this class is becoming a little problematic because of my internet connection. The internet connection where I am, my current geography is not good. So kindly bear with that. So we were explaining what is misfeasance. Somebody given this definition is unlawful activity done, correct, but make the distinction between malfeasance and misfeasance. Intentionally disobeying the law, intentionally done unlawful activity is malfeasance. Where the intention is not to do anything wrong or odd, but still law has been violated, that is misfeasance. Slight difference. Non-feasance is when you are supposed to do something, you are supposed to comply with something, not doing it, knowingly or unknowingly. That is called non-feasance. Okay? Although, of course, mis and non-feasance sometimes are similar because you are supposed to file a form, you are not aware, you don't file it, then absolutely correct, Abdul. Internet connection is also on holiday in my house. Okay. Sir, this user ID password and all you don't need because you're going through, you can ignore it. You only go for searching for names. Name search doesn't need user ID and password. Name doesn't need user ID and password. Check out. Maybe in my next class I will actually go through it. Today, not next. Or if you create a user ID, you create kar dijiye na. You just have one user ID password. Nothing wrong. Just give your email ID and your thing. They will give you a user ID password. Use it. Okay. Have one user ID password. You can create your own user ID password for MCA website. Now that you are in MCA website, please see the act there. In another class, I will take you through the bare act also. Right now, I'm in deep trouble with regard to this internet connection. I'm in no position to take you to any website and show you. But inshallah, next time I will definitely do that. Okay. So all this is procedural part in it. Okay. I don't have to waste my time telling this elaborately. These are all forms. Basically, this information is collected online through a form. That's a good idea. Hey, that's a good idea. Yeah, maybe let us see. Whose idea was this? Piyush Chaurasia. Great, ma. Sometimes, as you rightly say, if I turn off my video, then the voice may be clear. Great. So hopefully now somewhat better because between the two, whether you want to see my ugly face or whether you want to see my voice, voice rather than look at my ugly face. At least if if Aishwarya Rai is taking this class, then video will be irrelevant. When this ugly fellow is taking, what is the point? Okay. Okay. So basically, you have to give the names of every subscriber to the memorandum, proof of identity. Similarly, for the directors also, for mentioned, you have to give and the particulars of the interests of the persons mentioned in the articles as the first director in other firms or bodies corporate. For example, if you are director of your company, the director any other company or partner in any other firm or in any other body, all that has to be given. Okay. But all this is to be given in the form of form. This is an electronic form. You just have to fill it in. In fact, this part today is not done by me. It is done by somebody in my office. Chalo. So this is all purely procedural. In fact, whenever somebody comes to me for incorporation, my office people, my manager tells very clearly. So as I was saying, whenever somebody comes for incorporation, then they will insist that should give all these things and advance. Then only we will start the process of incorporation. One important procedure is that our MCA has done is called SPICE. Simplified pro forma for incorporating company electronically. Simplified pro forma for incorporating company electronically. It's called a SPICE, also known as SPICE Plus. Okay. This is a very nice format because you will also find that every person who is to be appointed as director should have a DIN, director identification number. Later on, when you go to final, when you study directors, we will tell you. But as of now, DIN application is a separate process where you have to apply for DIN, get the DIN, only then that person can be named as a director in my articles. Every director whose name I am mentioning should have a DIN. Now, in those days, when a man comes to me for incorporation, he will want to become director of the company also. He won't have a DIN. So first job is we will get a DIN. Then they're not going to work. I don't think today I'm going to take class. Again, PPT gone. I think every time the connection goes, the PPT goes. Actually, the Anesh is correct. Today being such a bad day, better I can take 1 more hour extra. Let's see what, if at all, I am not able to cover the topic. I may have to take extra also. May have to take an extra. Today my target is to complete OPC. But at this stage, I don't know if I can complete even incorporation. This is not because I'm trying my best to do my bandwidth. Okay, so once all these documents are filed, the registrar, on the basis of documents and information filed, shall register all the documents and information in the register and issue a certificate of incorporation in the prescribed form to the effect that the proposed company is incorporated under this act. Once the certificate of incorporation is issued, that is final. And the company will be given a STIN, means corporate identity number. Maintain and preserve its registered office copies of all documents originally filed till its dissolution. Because these documents are not filed in original, they are being uploaded. The copy is scanned image is being uploaded. Therefore, the originals should be preserved in the registered office till the dissolution of the company, throughout its life. Later on, accounts and all you will see can be destroyed within 10 years. That rule will not apply to these documents. All documents and information which are uploaded need to be kept. Originals need to be kept. Okay. Now, in case somebody furnishes false or misleading, incomplete, Sri Lakshmi ji, I don't know why you are giving so many comments. Okay. Yeah. Now, what I want to do is, since we are having so many disturbances, I want to stop here. At this point in time, I will stop my lecture. So next session, I will extend by half an hour. Means on Monday, we will go up to 9:30. Similarly, on Wednesday, we will go up to 9:30. I mean, of course, for the inconvenience caused to all of you, but I will not continue. Yeah. So that is how it is. I think it is better that I stop now because it's not going to happen. And your learning is also disturbed. And see, this is a very important topic. 1% company is a very important topic. I can complete it today if I continue, but the connectivity is a problem here. And we will meet again on Monday when I will continue and go extend it by half an hour on the other side. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Sir, we will stop today, sir. Ashok ji, we will stop today and 1 hour I will make up half an hour on Monday.